Hi, good evening. Wednesday, March 13th, 2019. I'm here to speak in regards of the conference that is organized by FIFA in Miami, Florida this week. A great way to kick off, between quotes, the decision that has been made a few months ago by giving to North America the hosting rights for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, with the United States hosting the majority of the games, including the final. So it is very important to get back here to highlight a little bit what the FIFA wants to speak about. And the first comment I want to make will be regarding the technology that is used. We have seen the VAR and the goal line technology during recent years, and you can look at this and agree with me regarding the VAR. Is it really a healthy decision to keep when it comes to decision makings, fairness in the field? We have seen so many things going on ever since it has been adopted in several competitions. So we still believe that there is some flaws with adopting the VAR. Do you agree or not? That's a very important question. The other technological points regarding goal line technology, I think this is more fair to use because it helps a lot in assisting regarding the goals or not, especially when it is a contest of getting the goalkeeper or the defenders taking the ball out from the edge of the goal scoring line. That could be helpful. But again, I mean, two very important points to discuss. Is soccer going to be more robotic because we are adopting these new techniques? Are drones going to intervene one day to spoil to the fourth referees that are in their rooms the way they look at things? We never know how hacking can go in this context of action. Until now, everything is mastered, I would say, between quotes, but again, we've seen so many things that even the spectators have noticed that the referees have made some odd decisions in several competitions ever since the adoption of the VAR technology. So, main things to speak about when we speak about the events of the FIFA in Miami is also the confirmation of the agenda that has been adopted until the year 2024. Very important to go forward ever since FIFA has moved on since 2016 with the election of a new president. And the consultation rounds are also a very important point. You know that before Miami, there were several rounds of discussions, either in the Middle East, in Morocco, as well as in Italy in January. So very important things to consult and discuss more in groups than taking decision from a close board member, as it was the policy of the FIFA before. So I hope that the organization is getting better and better in this context of action. After the Miami round, there will be the big event of Paris in June the 5th. That will confirm the election of the FIFA president for the following period. So what's at stake in Miami is also the discussion regarding the projected period of restructuration that will take place from 2021 to 2033. This includes finance, auditing, as well as future competitions and keeping in place existing competitions. Here is my brief. We start with the FIFA World Cup. The first thing is important to notice that in Miami there could be a decision making regarding the number of teams that will be in the finals of the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. At the end of the FIFA World Cup in Russia, the Qatar committee says that they will welcome an idea of expanding from 32 to 48 as the first country to organize with that number of teams. Whereas, I mean, the decision has not been made yet, and the Qatari have also said after that that no decision will be made until them getting the final word. So, in that matter, if you look a little bit onto the preliminary formats of the qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup 2022, especially the one of the AFC, because it's already been made and waiting for the draw of the preliminary round within the end of the season. It looks like a draw that will resemble the one of the previous editions, where the AFC got 4.5, 4.5 berths, and basically qualified to the World Cup. This time it will be 5.5 because Qatar is officially qualified. But you never know. I mean, if they move to 48 within the decision making of the upcoming time being, they could have that format involving the number of qualified of 9 teams, I believe, for the AFC that will take part within the World Cup with 48 other teams. So we're still waiting for that, and also checking Qatar's ability to host a tournament with 48 teams. That's a very important thing, knowing that if they host that, they will also have to host the playoffs tournaments that will involve the last 2 berths a year prior in the host country. Several voices were speaking about a GCC alliance, but we all know that the diplomatic relations between Qatar and the United Arab Emirates, for instance, if you looked at the AFC Asian Cup last month, how hard it was for the Qataris to be present in the Emirati soil during the tournament, but the Emirati have done a great job in terms of organization and logistics, but the diplomacy between the two countries has pushed Qatar, for example, to transit from Oman in order to go back to Doha. So very hard to see, even if Emirates could help Qatar to host some games, as well as Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, because of the infrastructures that this country have, with a couple of stadiums that could be added. Very hard to see that they will work with Qatar in this context of action. Qatar can work with Kuwait, which is a country that is open to discussion and diplomatic ties still with the future host of the FIFA World Cup. So this is a very important question. 48 teams, is it too big for Qatar? Is it impossible due to diplomacy to be hosted with Qatar plus GCC countries around it? That leaves maybe the chances of having the 48 teams until the next edition that will take place in North America, and that Qatar will host a FIFA World Cup with 32 teams. So either way, the format of the qualifiers has to be clarified as soon as possible, as well for the 2022 edition, because the qualifiers must start usually during the 3 seasons prior to the finals, which means 2019, 2020. And one more important thing also is the format of the finals. We all know the traditional format of 32 teams. If it is expanded for 48 teams, we'll see how it goes. Otherwise, that question will be the matter for the following World Cup in the United States, Mexico, and Canada in 2026. And therefore, it could be also a crucial question for the 2026 edition during the Miami rounds, because we would speak about the format. I've already exposed previously what I see is at stake if you keep a format of odd groups, and it is better to move to a format of even groups, 12 groups of 4. Please refer to my prior videos in order to hear about the proposition that I have been speaking about, and that could be maybe a concern for the FIFA World Cup 2026 that will take place in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. And these countries also have to organize the 2025 playoff for the last 2 berths of the 48 teams. So a lot of clarification regarding the formats of the finals regarding 2022 and 2026 subsequently, and the formats of the qualifiers for both editions as well. With that being said, we've already on the move for the 2020 plus vision, which means the following this decade and starting with the 2030 FIFA World Cup, the World Cup of the centenary. And as we invoked before, there are several files of potential bids that are already been spoken about. Even the FIFA president have given his opinion regarding the matters of organizing an inter-confederation World Cup in Marrakesh 2 months ago. Very important to come back here and see that the Euromed project of having a World Cup hosted in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, organized by three countries, as it will be the case 4 years prior in North America, it's a very good idea for the region. And it is on the essence of the World Cup itself, because we're speaking here about an interconfederation tournament and the biggest soccer tournament in the planet. So it is a great thing for FIFA to move within that pattern of getting the World Cup organized in two different confederations, in this case UEFA and CAF. Of course, there are oppositions from the UEFA, as we heard from the new UEFA president as well, that he is not agreeing on this matter. But if we look forward, this is a worldwide event, and that's also among the things that differentiate FIFA and UEFA ever since the competition of interest that was at the time of Blatter versus Johansson in the 1990s, if you remember, because each confederation is huge. The FIFA represents the international body, the UEFA represents the strongest continental body of soccer that is also interdependent to FIFA. But again, many things regarding this matter, FIFA versus UEFA, with the new eras, Infantino, Seferin, will be brought up during this video. So this is regarding the FIFA World Cup 2030. There is also possibility to have a joint bid from countries from the Balkans. This is the second possibility, and there are also opportunities that are spoken about in South America. Very unlikely, like I said, for Asia, because they cannot apply for the 2030, and it's very strong chances for China and the northeastern countries of Asia to go back in 2034. So to follow up, first of all, we start with 2030, and like I said, I emphasize on the importance of the bid of Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. Again, the three countries will have the opportunity very soon during the season to show the capability of hosting big events. Spain will host through Atletico Madrid and the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium the final of the UEFA Champions League 2018-2018, which is the biggest soccer event of the season. Portugal will host right after that the first UEFA Nations League finals, and Morocco will host the All Africa Games during the summer. So these are opportunities to show up the readiness of these countries to represent a first interconfederational project for the FIFA World Cup. So a lot of questions at stake to summarize regarding the FIFA World Cup 2022, 2026, and 2030 regarding the discussions in the Miami round. Now, the second thing regarding this will be also the future of the FIFA Confederations Cup. As we all know, it started in 1992, called King Fahd Cup, and there was a competition before called the Artemio Franchi Trophy, but the one that has been converted to a FIFA Confederations Cup was the King Fahd Cup that has started in 1992. So very important to speak about this competition. I don't think it will create a problem of keeping it alive, because it's also a great deal for several confederations. I mean, many countries that do not qualify for the FIFA World Cup really uses it as a World Cup like tournament for their teams to blossom over there. So for the 2021 edition, very important to know about the hosts. Speculations regarding the China's attempt are always present, because it's according to many, it gotta be hosted in the AFC. France, Qatar has already qualified among the 8 berths that are available for this tournament, and the United States could qualify. Either they win the CONCACAF Gold Cup this summer, or play, if they don't win it, the CONCACAF Cup, which is between quotes a qualifier for the FIFA Confederations Cup. So a lot of tension regarding this matter, but the FIFA Confederations Cup is the number 2 tournament right now in international FIFA events for men's football. Very important to also speak about the timeline for this event. You know that it's going to be very tough to put it back in 2021. I think the best thing, since there's going to be an open window in the summer of 2022, June, July, exceptionally hosting the FIFA Confederations Cup during that time in 2022, June, July, the time where the World Cup will be hosted. But as we all know, the World Cup will be hosted in November, December. So there is an empty time for the FIFA Confederations Cup to be hosted then, and be also a preparation tournament for the countries that will be potentially qualified to the FIFA World Cup. And keep the competition alive. That's the most important thing. That's what competition is all about, I do believe. And for the 2025, I think there won't be a problem for the United States, Mexico, and Canada to host the event, even if people here in the United States are skeptical about the competition, but it's very important to keep it as a warm-up tournament for the hosts before hosting the FIFA World Cup. There will be two major official warm-up tournaments before the World Cup finals, which would be the playoff qualifiers for the last two berths, 47 and 48 berths, and the FIFA Confederations Cup. If you look further down before closing it, I will invoke the project of the FIFA Global Nations League. If the winner of the FIFA Nations League is automatically qualified with the FIFA Confederations Cup winner and the FIFA World Cup winner and the six confederations winners of the continental event, it will be 9 teams and plus 3 hosts, because that's how it looks like for the formats of the 48 teams. You can have even a FIFA Confederations Cup with 12 teams, and it will be more attractive. And this tournament, either with 8 or 12, could stay within the window of 10 to 15 days. So it's doable either way. I've been speaking about how you can revamp the World Cup within 36 days with the format of 12 groups of 4. Same thing here. There is always an avenue to keep this tournament and to have the FIFA Nations Global Nations League as an active tournament as well, which will create the second big competition of FIFA with the FIFA Confederations Cup after the FIFA World Cup. And this FIFA Global Nations League is proposed with the final 8 that will take place every 2 years. So we speak about that budget 2021-2023. At least it guarantees for the first 7 editions, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, 31, and 33, to be organized. It would be a great opportunity. Now, this comes to back to some speculations that were like 20 years ago when the FIFA was speaking about the FIFA World Cup every 2 years, and the UEFA was opposed about it because the UEFA Euro, according to many, is a FIFA World Cup at the time without Brazil and Argentina. Things have changed because AFC reached the semi-final of the World Cup in 2002. Africa got better as well, so we cannot talk about it. But it's true to many that winning the UEFA Euro is harder than winning the FIFA World Cup for several countries. But the FIFA Global Nations League would be in place every 2 years, odd years, so it will not affect the finals of neither the FIFA World Cup or the UEFA European Championship. And it will constitute a final 8. Now we don't know yet if it's going to be linked to the continental nations leagues. As you know now, the UEFA, the CONCACAF, and the CAF has because the one of the CAF will start in 2019-2020. So the 3 of them already have continental nations league, but not the CONMEBOL, the AFC, and the OFC. So will the FIFA Global Nations League be an event that will basically be independent from the continental nations leagues, or will it be including all of them with the global 8 at the end? That will bring back also the importance of the availability of other dates for international soccer, because if we have the FIFA World Cup and its qualifiers, the FIFA Confederations Cup, and the FIFA Global Nations League proposed, which is good, having the international games will always be a matter, the friendlies, because they have an impact on the FIFA world ranking as well, and therefore they have an importance. Plus, when it comes to getting ready to play an international tournament, you cannot rely but on the international friendlies. There won't be there will be extra dates where the national teams will always play, and that will always have an impact on the several rankings that are issued by the FIFA. This concerns men's and women's football when it comes to international friendlies that could not be erased for the simple reason that are always helpful for coach to make better decisions, player to improve their caps and international official goals with the national teams, as well as getting ready for international competitions, because the de facto the World Cup, the Confederations Cup, and the Nations League would be always international competitions, and therefore the way to prepare for them will not prevent from playing friendly games that are de facto as well internationally official because they impact the FIFA World Ranking. Regarding the FIFA World Cup, Club World Cup, that's also an important topic. Now, also for this, you can refer to past videos regarding the proposition of having a better format. That I agree. The tournament with 7 teams right now, like I say, is not a good idea given the way that some teams starts on the playoff round and some starts in the semi-final. Some finish their tournaments while the other team is still wrapping up the UEFA Champions League, and a week later they come in to play the semi-final. As I've already spoken it about, and like I said, you can refer on to another video that I have posted before, proposing a format of 8 teams and everybody plays 3 games. Briefly, the format I've already exposed in the past videos that I have published in, I believe, January 2018. So an expansion to a 2014 tournament every 4 years is different than hosting the tournament with 8 teams, which is my proposition every year, which could stand up very good. But again, the 1 of 24 team is not something that the UEFA is for, because as you know, the UEFA Champions League stands as the key event for club football in the world, as much as the FIFA World Cup stands as the key event for national teams. And therefore, how are we going to see the evolution of this culture of Club World Cup? It started with the Intercontinental Cup. That was the only recognized competition by FIFA that was technically UEFA CONMEBOL competition. And then it has moved to the new format, to the FIFA Club World Cup ever since 2000. The Intercontinental Cup stayed for a few years until it disappeared in 2004. And then we stood with this format of 7 teams that I said would be better if it is 8 teams with the format that I have explained prior. But if we want to speak about this 2014 tournament every 4 years within the project that is proposed for the FIFA, covering the next 4 editions, 21, 25, 29, and 33, it's something that really has to be followed, because we won't know how the UEFA wants to react to it. There is also an agreement that the UEFA wants to accept now the 8 teams to be played in the tournament. But there is also another proposition. The International Champions Cup in the United States is a great opportunity for teams to gather to play international soccer in the summertime. And I do believe that it could be a great opportunity for the not just in the United States, but to host the ICC, because ICC has been also hosted in several countries, in Australia, in Asia. It could also play a role, why not, of moving towards a FIFA Club World Cup status with the format that is proposed by Infantino, which means 24 teams. Very hard to see regarding that, because right now, like I said, there always going to be a rivalry regarding the matter with UEFA, given the level of the UEFA Champions League and the interest as well. How is it going to play? So the ICC has an idea of revamping it of the 24 teams playing there, maybe, but I still believe that the 8-team tournament will be better, and it could be hosted within 10 days, as usual. So there is also an idea that if we bring the 24 teams FIFA World, the Club World Cup, why don't we speak about the European Super League that was proposed by the 18 clubs of the G14 in the past, discussed between these clubs. But again, I mean, this is opposed by both FIFA and UEFA in general circumstances, because of the what it represents at stake for the FIFA competitions like the Club World Cup, and for the UEFA competitions like the Champions League and the Europa League, and the unacceptance of both bodies to have this private European Super League starting between a couple of clubs that will detach from the national leagues and therefore become like the MLS in the United States without a promotion relegation system. It's very hard. It's very hard nowadays. So it is an idea that is fully opposed by FIFA and UEFA right now. So to summarize, very good to speak about these topics of the FIFA World Cup, the formats, and emphasize more regarding the hosts. Keep the FIFA Confederations Cup. It won't hurt much on the agenda that is already hectic, and it's better for the spectacle. Apply the FIFA Nations League, I do believe, now to be approved if it's going to be linked to the other Continental Nations League, and make the FIFA Club World Cup a tournament that will not push up onto the calendars of the club. And that's why I spoke about the ICC, because it's a way for the clubs to prepare the season. Why not moving this competition into an official one, as much as the King Fahd Cup was moved to become the present FIFA Confederations Cup. Very important also to speak about the Olympic football tournament qualifier that will start this month. That's a very important thing because, as you remember, in the past it was also a senior tournament because teams and countries from the Eastern Bloc clearly sent to the Olympic Games their national teams that go to the World Cup, which explained the success that the Eastern Bloc of Europe had in winning gold medals in soccer for a long period of time, from 1952 to 1980 consecutively. Very important to gather the importance of the FIFA Women's World Cup, the World Cup in France in 2019, the host selection for 2023, and this will be an important event, the most important event, I do believe, of FIFA this year, and it will take place in the same context when there will be the June 5th presidential election in FIFA. And very important to speak about the as we just had the International Women's Day passed last week, on the importance of the FIFA Women's World Cup as much as the FIFA Men's World Cup at the same level. And the fact that before the Olympic football tournament of women looked more important than their own World Cup, but nowadays with all the prestige that this tournament has known every 4 years, it's the most important tournament of women's soccer, and the Olympic football tournament comes just right after that. More the women's Olympic soccer tournaments is obviously more prestigious than the men's, because the men's you can win as a senior player with 3 players. I mean, you technically among the senior tournaments, because you still allow players over 23 years old to play, 3 of them. Plus, in some teams, you have national teams that are already built up with players that are under 23. So very, very important tournament. But of course, at the female level, it's more important because it's a fully senior level tournament. So very expecting a lot from this Miami round. I hope that it will bring better calendars to the game with what I have been speaking about in this video, 4 different points. Now there is also a choice for the host of the 2020 Copa America, which would be a great opportunity at the Pan American level, and hosting it in the United States will be a great opportunity also to show how prepared the United States is with other tournaments to prepare the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and an opportunity for the United States and 5 other CONCACAF teams to participate in this tournament. A 16-team format that could be similar to the one of the Centenario that took place 4 years ago, 2016, before this tournament in the United States. So the host selection, it's a CONMEBOL decision that is also included in this FIFA conference in Miami. Now, like I said, very important that the CAF has added several tournaments such as the Nations League that will start in 2019-2020, as well as the CAF Super Cup that will gather the winner of the African Nations Cup versus the one of the African Nations League. So very important to encourage the game by creating the most efficient calendar, and this is the points that I want to bring in this video, plus the ones of the technology that I have been invoking before. Looking forward to hearing further feedback, and to my colleagues, see you tomorrow in the morning, bright and early. Stay tuned. Thank you.